Chosen one, listen. Heaven itself has orchestrated this moment for you to pause, to breathe, and to hear. You have been pouring out your visions, your plans, your revelations to people who were never meant to carry the weight of what you're birthing. You've been sharing everything, your dreams, your progress, your next step, because your heart is pure. But purity without wisdom can become the open gate of sabotage. The silence you've been feeling is not abandonment, it is divine preservation. God has hidden you to protect you from those who would not understand the magnitude of your calling. You see, every chosen one must learn the art of silence before stepping into glory. Before the light is revealed, it must be tested in darkness. Before your purpose can unfold, your tongue must be tamed. Heaven is not punishing you, it's preparing you. There are mysteries being formed in your spirit that are not yet ready for exposure. And though the world may pressure you to share, to post, to prove, heaven says, wait. As the prophet wrote in the scroll of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3, for the revelation awaits, an appointed time. It speaks of the end, and will not prove false. Though it lingers, wait for it, it will surely come. There it is, your instruction. The revelation awaits its appointed time. Meaning, even divine truth must be incubated before being declared. You've been releasing blueprints heaven meant to keep under construction. You've been showing your seed before it has broken through the soil. And that is why, lately, you've felt resistance. You can't explain conversations that drain you. People that suddenly shift when you share your good news. It's not because you're wrong to dream. It's because not everyone has earned access to what God is doing inside of you. Beloved, your unfolding purpose is sacred territory. Every word you release is a seed that either falls on fertile ground or gets stolen by birds of distraction. Some things must remain between you and God until the appointed time. Silence is not weakness, it is strategy. It is protection for what is still tender and growing. This moment right now is your reset. Heaven presses pause on your impulse to share, to explain, to prove. Instead, God whispers, "Be still and watch me unfold what I've promised." You are learning to value privacy over validation, alignment over applause. Every time you choose silence, you strengthen your spirit. Every time you choose patience, you deepen your discernment. Don't mistake obscurity for punishment. Many of God's greatest were hidden. Joseph in the prison, David in the field, Esther behind palace walls. Hiddenness is heaven's strategy to build endurance. When you stop oversharing, you allow heaven to protect your harvest. You stop letting every eye and every mouth weigh down what is still fragile. Chosen one, the next time you feel tempted to announce what's still being formed, remember, premature exposure invites warfare for which you're not yet armored. Keep your revelation in the secret place until it's clothed in glory. Guard it as you would guard your very breath. You are entering a divine season of quiet construction. God is drafting blueprints in your spirit. You may not see movement around you, but the foundations beneath you are strengthening. Don't despise the quiet, it's holy ground. The silence is where the architect works best. So listen closely. You are not forgotten. You are being prepared. Heaven is sculpting your destiny in secret so that when the unveiling comes, no man will be able to claim. They made you. Your silence will speak louder than every word you ever said. If this message resonates in your spirit, Don't just scroll. Respond. Type below, "I will wait for my appointed time." Let heaven see your agreement. Let the darkness know you've chosen divine patience over impulsive exposure. And before you go, pause and breathe. This space is holy. Like, share, and subscribe if this word stirred something deep in you, because more prophetic insight is coming. But remember, your obedience to stay silent when heaven says, "Hush," will unlock blessings that public noise could never summon. You are God's chosen one, being prepared in silence for a glory the world isn't ready to witness. Now, as a prophetic act of faith, comment the number 777 below, symbol of divine completion and heavenly perfection, to seal your agreement with this message. Chosen one, you have not been forgotten, you have been hidden. There is a difference. Being hidden is not rejection, it is protection. Heaven has wrapped you in divine obscurity, not to limit you, but to prepare you for what is greater than you can yet comprehend. You wonder why the spotlight keeps missing you, why your name isn't on the lips of those who seem to rise faster, why the doors you thought would open remain sealed. But this is not delay born of neglect, it is strategy. Heaven hides its treasures until the appointed time. You see, diamonds are formed far below the surface. In pressure and in darkness, seeds must die beneath soil before they can reach for light. And you, beloved, are in your divine burial, your season of holy concealment. Every chosen one walks through this sacred shadow. The silence around you is not emptiness, it is incubation. Heaven does its finest work where no one is watching. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Isaiah, chapter 45, verse 3. "I will give you the treasures of darkness and hidden riches of secret places, that you may know I am the Lord." Do you see it? Treasures of darkness. That means what you call isolation. God calls revelation. What feels like obscurity is actually the womb of your anointing. He is depositing hidden wisdom in you, truths that cannot be learned in public places, only in private surrender, while others chase attention. Heaven is crafting depth in you. You are not behind, you are being built. God is shaping your patience, tempering your impulses, and refining your motives. He's removing your need for validation, because where you are going, applause will not sustain you. You will be called to stand firm, even when misunderstood, to carry fire that others may not recognize until it lights their own path. Hiddenness is where you learn to hear the still, small voice without the interference of noise. When heaven hides you, it is not silence, it is symphony, too divine for the world to hear. Yet, every unanswered prayer, every closed door, every delay, it is all part of the music of your making. You are being tuned to heaven's frequency. There are things being aligned behind the veil: resources, relationships, opportunities, all waiting for your readiness. Don't rush this season. Don't resent it. Every time you complain, you delay revelation. Every time you trust, you accelerate alignment. Let your faith mature in the unseen places. You are not missing out. You are being positioned. The same God who hid Moses in the reeds, who concealed Elijah by the brook, who veiled Jesus until the fullness of time, he is doing the same with you. Right now, heaven is training you to walk without needing recognition, to speak only when the Spirit says speak, to move only when commanded, This is divine discipline. A soldier does not question why they train in the dark. They know the field requires readiness. Likewise, your secret season is shaping a weapon the world has never seen. Remember, even Jesus grew in wisdom and stature before his public ministry. Years of silence preceded 3 years of power. Heaven does not rush greatness, it perfects it. The hidden years are where you become trustworthy with what is holy. If God were to release you too early, the weight of your calling could crush you, but he loves you too much to let that happen. Chosen one. The reason people can't find you is because God has hidden you under his hand. The reason your name is not trending is because it's written on heaven's scroll. The world doesn't see you yet, but when it does, it will not be able to forget you. You are being set apart, not left behind. Take peace in the fact that heaven's silence is full of activity. The angels are moving. The path is being cleared. The anointing is deepening. Your hiddenness is holy. It is heaven's way of marking you for distinction. You may feel invisible, but even invisibility is a divine assignment. God is removing distractions, false alliances, and counterfeits. He is ensuring that when you rise, no one else can take his credit. Every unanswered moment, every not yet, is the whisper of a father saying, I am preparing more than you can imagine. So breathe. Chosen one. Stop comparing your pace to others. You are not late, you are right on schedule. Your silence is your shield. Your patience is your weapon. Stay tucked in the secret place until heaven says, now. And when that moment comes, the world will call it sudden, but you will know it was never sudden at all. It was written in the silence all along. Chosen one. Listen carefully. There is a spiritual law you must now understand. What is spoken too soon can die before its time. Every revelation, every divine promise, every seed of destiny carries a sacred timing. Yet when you reveal it prematurely, you expose it to winds meant to test you, not the promise itself. This is the danger of premature exposure. You have shared visions with those who could not discern their holiness. You have opened your heart to ears, unprepared to hold it. Not every listener deserves access to your blueprint. Not every smile is a signal of support. Some only wait to measure your progress so they can mimic your movement or sabotage your peace. But this is not cause for fear. It is a call for wisdom. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 14. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. 1. Stillness. That's the word that terrifies the impatient soul. You were created for movement, for purpose, for divine emotion. But heaven teaches movement through restraint. Stillness is not inactivity, it's trust. It means learning to let God speak for you, defend you, and unveil you at his appointed time. When you move before he commands, you fight battles he never asked you to face. The danger of premature exposure is that it invites warfare not meant for this stage of your journey. A seed doesn't battle storms, a tree does. When you reveal before you're rooted, you risk uprooting what hasn't yet matured. Some of the resistance you've been feeling wasn't demonic, it was simply the result of revealing what God was still forming. Heaven often keeps you quiet because your destiny is weighty. You think silence slows you down, but it actually secures your future. Every time you hold your peace when tempted to overshare, heaven celebrates. Every time you choose patience over proof, your foundation strengthens. Silence builds protection around the promise. Understand this. Chosen one. Divine préparation requiert privat, discipline. God hides his warriors in stillness, so that when they finally speak, their words carry thunder. You are being trained to recognize that not every opportunity to speak is an invitation to reveal. You are not missing your moment, you are mastering your mouth. You've been tested lately, haven't you? People asking, what's next for you? What are you planning? They mean well, or so it seems. Yet something in your spirit hesitates to respond. That hesitation is not fear, it's discernment. Heaven is whispering, not yet. And you must honor that whisper. For to disobey it is to delay your unveiling. There are seasons where God deliberately hides his next move, even from those closest to you. He does this to purify your intentions. Can you obey without validation? Can you hold divine secrets without spilling them for approval? That is where maturity is born. You are learning that not every question requires an answer. Not every curiosity deserves your clarity. Let them wonder. Let them speculate. Let them talk. While they discuss, God constructs. While they question, heaven builds. Your silence is not weakness, it's warfare. Every time you resist explaining yourself, you disarm the enemy's access. Remember how Mary, mother of Jesus, pondered these things in her heart. She didn't broadcast every angelic encounter. She carried revelation privately until the manifestation spoke for itself. That's the model of a true chosen one, conceiving in secret, revealing in power. Beloved, I know the waiting feels heavy. You want to testify, to shout, to tell the world what God is doing. But not every testimony belongs to the crowd. Some belong to the altar. There are stories meant to be whispered only in worship until the time comes to proclaim them in power. So what do you do now? You rest in divine stillness. You guard your tongue like a temple gate. You speak only what the Spirit releases, and you trust that heaven keeps perfect records of your obedience. Nothing withheld in faith is lost. It is multiplied in glory. This silence is not empty. It is filled with divine craftsmanship. Heaven is engineering something far greater than what your words could ever explain. Let patience become your new language. Let quietness be your confidence. When the unveiling comes, it will silence every doubt without you uttering a single defense. You are being refined in restraint. The Lord is training your voice to carry power when it is finally released. When you do speak, your words will pierce darkness, heal hearts, and ignite destinies. But for now, stay still, stay hidden, stay holy in your hush. Now, chosen one, if this word resonates deep within you, if you feel the Spirit confirming this truth, type these 4 words below as your prophetic declaration: I choose stillness. By writing it, you're not just commenting, you're agreeing with heaven. You're saying, I refuse to rush God's timing. I will not expose what He is still perfecting. This is your public act of private obedience. Your way of saying, Lord, I trust your silence more than I trust my own need to speak. Remember this moment, for when your unveiling comes, the world will call it sudden, but you will know it was birthed in stillness. Chosen one. There comes a moment in every divine journey when heaven begins to test not your strength, but your speech. God listens not only to what you declare publicly, but to what slips through your lips when you think no one is listening. The tongue, though small, holds the power to build or to break, to bless or to bind. Heaven measures maturity not merely by what you believe, but by what you say. You are being trained in the sacred discipline of controlled speech. Your words are instruments of creation. They can shape worlds or shatter promises. Every time you speak, something in the unseen realm responds, either light or darkness, angels or adversaries. That is why this season of your life feels heavy with silence and scrutiny. God is not ignoring you. He is listening to you. He is weighing your words, discerning whether your mouth can carry the weight of revelation without contaminating it with emotion. According to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 18, verse 21, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit. Oh, God often delays breakthrough, not because you are unworthy, but because your words are not yet worthy of the promise. He must ensure that your mouth will not sabotage your miracle. You cannot decree abundance while secretly speaking lack. You cannot pray for favor while confessing fear. You cannot prophesy destiny while complaining about delay. Heaven waits for alignment between your belief and your vocabulary. This is why your conversations are shifting. You can no longer engage in meaningless talk. You find yourself silent in rooms where you once explained everything. That is growth. That is the evidence of spiritual promotion. God is teaching you that sometimes the holiest response is no response at all. You are being called into a deeper realm of awareness where your voice becomes sacred, your declarations intentional, and your silence strategic. The tongue test is one of the final gateways before elevation. Those who fail it must circle the same mountain again, repeating cycles of frustration. But those who pass it ascend swiftly, for heaven can now trust their words. Look at Moses. His words parted seas, but also barred him from entering the promised land when spoken in frustration. Look at Zechariah, silenced until the birth of John, because heaven refused to let doubt pollute a prophetic promise. And look at Jesus. He spoke few words before Pilate, because silence itself carried divine authority. Each example shows that God honors restraint as much as He honors revelation. In your own life, you are being asked to master that same holy restraint. Your destiny requires a purified voice, one that speaks truth, even when tempted by reaction. You are learning to pause before replying, to pray before posting, to breathe before defending. That is spiritual maturity in motion. Understand this: your tongue reveals your level of trust. When you trust God completely, you don't need to over-explain. You don't need to justify, ritagliate, or prove your worth. Your confidence becomes quiet, your authority subtle. Silence is not absence, it is assurance. It says, I believe so deeply that I don't need to convince anyone. I am beloved. This testing will continue until your words match your calling. Do not despise it. When you feel conviction, rejoice. It means heaven is still investing in your growth. When you catch yourself before complaining, celebrate it. Means your spirit is awakening to divine precision. The more you yield your tongue to God, the more power He entrusts to your speech. Soon, your words will carry unusual weight. You will speak, and things will shift. You will pray, and barriers will break. You will decree, and heaven will echo your voice. But first, you must prove faithful in silence. You must show God that you can hold revelation without rushing to release it, that you can speak life even when surrounded by death. Chosen one. This is not a season of small talk, it is a season of sacred talk. Speak less. Listen more. Let the Spirit fill the gaps where your words once rushed to dwell. Learn the rhythm of divine restraint. For when your speech is purified, your destiny is amplified. The testing of your tongue is not punishment, it is promotion in disguise. Pass this test, and heaven will entrust you with utterances that carry eternal weight. You will become a vessel whose voice shakes the atmosphere, not through volume, but through purity. So stay silent when needed. Speak when commanded. And remember, the power of life and death rests on your lips. Choose life. Every time. Chosen one. Some of the people smiling at you have been sent to study you, not to support you. The danger is not always in open opposition, it is in subtle imitation, quiet sabotage, and gentle distraction. Heaven is not exposing this truth to make you fearful, but to make you wise. The battlefield of the chosen is not in the obvious arenas. It's often found in the spaces where smiles hide swords. There are those who clap for your victories with hollow palms, whose curiosity about your calling is merely camouflage for control. You felt it, the strange fatigue that follows certain conversations, the sudden doubt after sharing a testimony, the draining silence after giving your heart to ears that could not hold its holiness. That's not coincidence. That's spiritual leakage. Heaven is teaching you discernment through discomfort. The ancient words recorded in Romans, chapter 16, verse 17, declare, I urge you, brothers and sisters, to watch out for those who cause divisions and put obstacles in your way that are contrary to the teaching you have learned. Keep away from them. 1. This is the warning of wisdom. Not every connection is covenant. Some are assignments. Temporary bridges meant to teach you discernment before destiny. You must learn to recognize who is sent to sharpen you and who is sent to shadow you. Not all company is companionship. Some presence is poison wrapped in politeness. Picture yourself as a lighthouse on a stormy shore. Your purpose is to shine. But if you allow every passing ship to drain your oil, your light will flicker before dawn. Protect your oil. Chosen one. You cannot pour endlessly into every vessel that approaches you with flattery. Even Jesus withdrew from the crowds to restore his strength. Solitude is not selfishness, it's stewardship. God is calling you to move with the calm confidence of a mountain. Mountains don't chase storms, they endure them. And while winds may whip their surface, their foundations remain unmoved. That's what you are becoming: rooted, discerning, steady. You will learn to smile without surrendering, to love without leaking, to help without being hollowed. Some people will try to pull you into gossip disguised as concern, into advice that carries envy between its syllables. Recognize it quickly and guard your peace. The enemy cannot destroy what he cannot access, and he often seeks access through trust misplaced. So be kind, but cautious, open-hearted, but guarded, gentle, but firm. Chosen one. Your spirit knows the truth before your mind admits it. That unease around certain people is your discernment speaking. Listen. The Spirit is not trying to make you paranoid. He's protecting the purity of your purpose. Some people must witness your transformation from a distance. Not everyone who started with you is meant to finish beside you. When God begins to elevate you, separation always comes disguised as disappointment. People may drift. Conversations may dry up. Invitations may stop coming. Let them. You are being pruned for precision. Every branch that no longer bears fruit must be cut, not as punishment, but as preparation for new growth. And as you walk this path, sometimes alone, sometimes misunderstood, remember, even isolation is investment. Heaven withdraws you to refill you. You are not losing, you are learning. You are not abandoned, you are advancing. Beloved, if this word is resonating within your spirit, I want you to pause for a moment and take a deep breath. Feel that stillness. That peace is confirmation. You are hearing truth. And truth doesn't just inform, it transforms. I speak to you now with humility and sincerity. If these messages have been watering your spirit, if they've reminded you of who you are and why you must continue, consider planting a seed back into the soil that feeds you. A simple act of support, whether by sharing, subscribing, or even donating, keeps this lighthouse burning for other souls searching through their own storm. Every like is a spark of agreement. Every share is a ripple that reaches someone's midnight moment. Every donation, no matter how small, becomes oil for this lamp of light. You are not just supporting content, you are sustaining a calling, partnering with the flow of divine encouragement that has been speaking to you week after week. Think of it like tending a vineyard. When you water where you've been nourished, you multiply the harvest. When you give back to the stream that refreshed you, you ensure it keeps flowing. Your gesture of gratitude, be it through a click, a comment, or a contribution, is not just for me. It's an offering to God, saying, I value what heals my soul. But whether you give, share, or simply sit in reflection, remember this truth. You are not alone in this journey. Heaven watches over you with fierce love. The same God who shields you from false alliances is guiding you toward divine ones. Hold this in your heart. Your discernment is your armor. Your peace is your fortress. And your love, when directed by wisdom, is undefeatable. Chosen one. There is a sacred call echoing through your spirit. Now, a gentle command from heaven itself. Be still and listen. You are entering the sacred discipline of silence, a realm where words lose their value and presence becomes the purest prayer. This silence is not empty, it is filled with revelation. It is the place where heaven trains your hearing, where wisdom speaks not in thunder but in whispers. You have been in a season where everything around you seemed noisy, the opinions of others, the comparisons, the constant stream of distractions pulling you in different directions. But heaven is now asking for something rare from you: stillness. You've shouted your dreams long enough. Now, God wants you to let Him speak about them. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah. Chapter 33, verse 3. Call to me, and I will answer you, and show you great and mighty things which you do not know. And do you understand the mystery of that verse? God doesn't ask you to shout louder. He asks you to call and then listen. The mighty things, He reveals, are not found in chaos, but in quiet. The secret of your next step, the direction of your destiny, the wisdom for your future, it's all waiting in the silence you've been avoiding. You see, silence is not the absence of sound, it's the atmosphere of revelation. The prophets of old didn't discover God in the earthquake or the fire, but in the still small voice. That same stillness is calling you now. Your anxious mind wants movement, but your spirit craves stillness, because that's where alignment happens. Heaven has been orchestrating divine interruptions lately. Plans suddenly paused. People you thought would walk with you quietly faded away. Doors that once seemed certain have closed without explanation. Don't rush to fill those gaps with noise. These interruptions are invitations to lean closer, to listen deeper. Heaven silences your surroundings so that your spirit can finally hear the next instruction. In this stillness, God will show you hidden strategies. He will give you names, directions, and timing that no human advisor could offer. But He will not shout them over the volume of your worry. You must quiet the storm within to hear the whisper without. Chosen one. Silence is your sanctuary now. It is where you meet God without filters, where tears become language, where your spirit exhales and your faith inhales. Stop feeling guilty for withdrawing. Even Jesus often slipped away from the crowds to pray in solitude. The mountain became His meeting place, not the marketplace. There are people who will not understand this new season of yours. They will think you've become distant, detached, perhaps even strange. But you are not avoiding people. You are aligning with purpose. Your absence is not rebellion, it's recalibration. Heaven hides you to refill you. The more you talk about what God is doing, the less you feel what God is doing. So, stay quiet. Protect the sacred energy being restored inside you. Don't dilute it by over-explaining it. Silence is the armor of those walking in divine purpose. Soon, this quietness will birth clarity. You will rise from the stillness with answers that others spent years trying to find. Your decisions will become sharper, your peace unshakable. You will no longer chase confirmation, because silence will have already confirmed what your spirit knows to be true. And when the world wonders how you've transformed, you'll smile not out of pride, but gratitude, for only you and heaven will understand what happened in that hidden place. Beloved, this is your sacred pause. Don't fill it with fear. Don't rush it. Sit with it. There is divine intelligence woven into your quiet. Angels are moving on, assignments you don't yet see. The plans you surrendered are being restructured by hands far more capable than yours. So let this message sink deep. Your silence is working louder than your speech ever could. Stay hidden. Stay humble. Stay still. Now, as a sign of your agreement with heaven's invitation, comment the number 555 below. That number represents divine transformation, grace multiplied, and heavenly alignment. By typing it, you're not just leaving a number, you're declaring, I receive this sacred stillness. I welcome the transformation it carries. Heaven is watching. Chosen one. And every moment you spend in silence, heaven writes new chapters in your destiny. This quiet is not a pause, it's preparation for power. Chosen one. Though the world cannot see it, something powerful is happening beneath the surface of your life. You have mistaken stillness for stagnation, but heaven calls it cultivation. You are not forgotten, you are germinating. Your purpose is growing underground, in the quiet dark, where roots dig deep and foundations strengthen. Just because no one applauds doesn't mean nothing is moving. Hidden growth is still growth. There are seasons when God buries His chosen ones, not to kill them, but to prepare them for fruitfulness. The burial always precedes the bloom. The seed must disappear before it can multiply. This is the holy paradox of divine purpose. What looks like death is often just deep preparation for life. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms. Chapter 1, verse 3. He shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that brings forth its fruit in its season, whose leaf also shall not wither, and whatever he does shall prosper. Look at that verse closely. It doesn't say instantly planted, nor does it say fruitful at all times. It says in its season, you, beloved, are in your rooting season. The rivers of God's presence are nourishing you. Even when the world sees no progress, every delay, every quiet day, every moment of waiting is watering your destiny. You may feel overlooked right now, but hiddenness is heaven's version of investment. The soil may be dark, but it's also rich. The deeper the seed goes, the greater the fruit it will bear. You are being strengthened where it matters most, in the unseen spaces. When the time of revealing comes, you will not merely sprout, you will stand firm against storms, because your roots will have learned to drink from eternal waters. There's a reason why God keeps you low before lifting you high. A tree that grows too fast without strong roots falls when winds come. Likewise, purpose revealed before maturity collapses under the weight of recognition. That's why you're being anchored now. Your trials aren't punishments, they're root work. Every heartbreak, every setback, every unanswered prayer has been deepening your resilience. You've been asking heaven, why can't I see progress? And God answers, because I'm building depth. The roots of your spirit are stretching into divine soil, drawing nutrients no applause could ever give. It's in this hidden space that humility is formed, discernment sharpened, and faith purified. Consider the seed, once buried. It faces pressure from all sides. It's surrounded by darkness, moisture, and weight. But within that pressure lies potential. The shell must break for life to begin. You are in that breaking moment now. It feels uncomfortable because destiny is expanding inside you. What you call breaking, heaven calls birthing. Don't fight this underground season. Embrace it. The silence, the obscurity, the waiting, it's not wasted. Every moment is shaping your internal structure for what's to come. Your unseen obedience now will become visible fruit later. Heaven is watching how you handle what others can't see. And when you finally emerge, people will think it happened overnight. They will see the fruit, but not the fight. They will see the beauty, but not the burial. Let them wonder. You owe no one an explanation for what God cultivated in silence. Sometimes God hides your progress to protect you from pride. If you saw how far you've come, you might stop leaning on Him. So, He veils your advancement to preserve your dependence. That's love. That's divine strategy. Chosen one. Remember this. The ground you're buried in is not your grave, it's your womb. You are not trapped, you're being transformed. The darkness around you is not punishment, it's protection from premature exposure. The time will come when the ground that concealed you can no longer contain you. You will push through, not because of striving, but because growth is inevitable when God is the gardener. Until then, stay faithful in the hidden work. Pray when no one notices. Build quietly. Forgive quickly. Learn deeply. Let your roots chase the river of His presence. Because when your season of revealing arrives, your fruit will testify of the faithfulness that sustained you in the soil. One day, what was once unseen will stand tall and unshakable. The same earth that covered you will cradle your roots as you stretch toward heaven. You will realize that being hidden was never about delay, it was about design. God didn't bury you, He planted you. So rest. Chosen one. Growth is happening, even here. Even now, the soil is sacred. The silence is fertile. The promise still breathes beneath the surface. And when heaven whispers, "Rise," nothing will stop what's been nurtured in the deep. Chosen one. Heaven watches how you handle what it gives you in dreams. Those divine flashes, visions in the night, whispers in prayer. Sudden bursts of revelation are not random. They are holy currency, entrusted to your care. But many lose the power of their dreams by spending them too soon, speaking them to people who were never meant to hear them. Every divine dream you reveal before its appointed time leaks a measure of its potency. Dreams are not just images, they are instructions wrapped in mystery. When heaven entrusts you with one, it is giving you a sacred code to steward. You are being asked to protect it. To nurture it. To let it mature in silence before you share it. Too many have mistaken the impulse to feel excited as the permission to speak early, but excitement without discernment can become the enemy of destiny. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Deuteronomy, chapter 29, verse 29, "The secret things belong to the Lord our God, but the things revealed belong to us and to our children forever, that we may follow all the words of this law." Lule. That means not everything revealed to you is meant to be revealed by you. Some secrets are meant to be carried, not shared. The spiritual world respects discretion. Revelation is reserved for the mature. When you speak divine things in casual spaces, you invite warfare not meant for that stage. What God whispers in intimacy should not be shouted in immaturity. Think of your dream as a newborn, fragile, beautiful, and utterly dependent on your protection. You wouldn't place an infant in a crowd of strangers. Why then expose your vision to those who cannot discern its worth? A dream left unguarded becomes prey to misunderstanding, criticism, and premature death. Heaven gives dreams to the faithful, not to the famous. You must learn the discipline of discretion. When Joseph shared his dreams of greatness with his brothers, he didn't realize that revelation can provoke resentment. His vision was true, but his timing was wrong. The pit he fell into wasn't punishment, it was a classroom. There, he learned the difference between receiving a dream and releasing one. You, too, are in that classroom. God is teaching you how to carry your dreams without letting them be contaminated by doubt or pride. Your dreams are currency in the spiritual economy. If you spend them too freely talking about them for validation, you'll find yourself spiritually bankrupt when it's time to act. Every conversation, every disclosure has a cost. The wise keep their counsel until the time of confirmation. Chosen one. Learn to incubate revelation. Let your dreams breathe in silence until they take form. The moment you speak them, they become subject to the atmosphere of your listeners. If the ears are filled with envy or disbelief, the dream begins to lose its divine resonance. Protect your vision by limiting access. Heaven trusts those who know how to hold sacred things quietly. You may feel the pressure to share. People might ask, "What's next for you? What are you planning?" But understand, when you tell everything, you remove heaven's mystery from your process. There is power in surprise. God sometimes hides your plans to magnify His glory later. When it happens, no one can say it was coincidence. They'll know it was divine orchestration. Let your actions reveal what your words conceal. When the time is right, the manifestation will speak louder than your mouth ever could. You don't need to convince anyone that you are chosen. You only need to remain faithful to what heaven whispered. And if your dream seems delayed, trust that it's not denied, it's developing. Hidden things have their own timeline. A caterpillar doesn't rush its transformation. It allows the cocoon to do its secret work. The same applies to you. The longer the incubation, the greater the impact. So guard your dreams. Speak less. Pray more. Let your silence become your shield, and your humility your language. Every time you choose not to explain what God is doing, you build spiritual muscle. Every time you keep a revelation between you and heaven, you prove you're trustworthy for more. The time will come when those same dreams will unfold like dawn, when what was once whispered in your midnight will blaze in daylight. And when that moment comes, you will realize why heaven told you to stay quiet. It wasn't to restrain you, but to refine you. Chosen one. Heaven doesn't waste words, and neither should you. Let your silence protect your promise until the world is ready to witness what you and God have been building in secret. Chosen one. Heaven has been teaching you something subtle yet vital. Every word you speak is a seed, and seeds, once released, cannot be retrieved. They take root in the atmosphere and grow according to their nature. Some words bloom into blessings, while others grow into burdens. That is why God is calling you to examine the soil of your speech. You've learned to protect your dreams. Now you must learn to protect your declarations. There's a reason the Spirit keeps convicting you when you speak without thought. Your words create ripples in both the physical and spiritual realms. When you complain, those ripples grow thorns. When you bless, they blossom into favor. Heaven is teaching you that your mouth is an altar. What you place upon it either attracts angels or summons opposition. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 12, verse 36, "But I tell you that everyone will give account on the day of judgment for every empty word they have spoken." That verse isn't meant to make you afraid, it's meant to awaken reverence. Words are not empty vessels, they are carriers of power. Every chosen one must eventually confront the responsibility of the tongue, for what you say in moments of frustration can delay the blessings designed for your elevation. What you whisper in doubt can dismantle what you built in faith. Consider how easily we sabotage ourselves through careless speech. We say, "Nothing ever works out for me," or "Maybe I'm not good enough," and heaven listens, not as an angry judge, but as a loving father grieved by his child's unbelief. You see, creation responds to confidence, not complaint. Faith-filled speech fuels miracles. Fear-filled speech freezes movement. Your words are prophetic blueprints. Every sentence you release is building something, either a house of faith or a prison of fear. When you speak life, you partner with heaven's design. When you speak death, you echo the language of defeat. That is why your vocabulary must evolve with your calling. You cannot step into divine destiny using the language of despair. Chosen one, there is a holy weight to what you say now. Heaven has upgraded your authority. When you speak blessings, they manifest faster. When you utter negativity, it returns quicker. You've stepped into a season where the spiritual consequence of your speech is immediate. That's not punishment, it's proof of your promotion. God trusts you enough to let your words carry power. And with that power comes responsibility. Think of your words as arrows. Once released, they travel toward their target. Unseen but unstoppable. You cannot recall them mid-flight. So before speaking, you must ask, is this arrow meant to pierce or to plant? Words that pierce in anger often wound innocent hearts. Words that plant in love grow into trees of peace. Choose to plant. The enemy knows the value of your tongue. That's why he provokes you to misuse it. He stirs frustration, hoping to make you curse your own progress. Don't fall for that trap. Keep your mouth aligned with the melody of heaven, even when you're weary. Say, God is still good, even when doors close. Say, another one will open. Those phrases become prophecies, building bridges through unseen territory. And yes, there will be moments when silence is your safest strategy. Not every emotion deserves expression. Not every argument deserves your energy. Sometimes the most powerful sentence is the one you never speak. Heaven hears restraint as clearly as declaration. So, beloved, train your speech in the language of light. Let gratitude become your default. Hope, your tone, and peace your punctuation. You are no longer just speaking for yourself. You are representing the kingdom you carry. Your words echo in eternity, shaping realities beyond what eyes can see. Now, take a moment and reflect. If your words from the past week became visible structures, would they be gardens or ruins? Would they shelter or suffocate? The answer reveals where your spiritual construction stands. But the beauty of grace is that you can start again today. So, speak restoration, speak order, speak destiny. Heaven bends closer when the chosen speak faith. Your mouth is a doorway. Decide what enters and exits. And right now, as a prophetic sign that you choose to guard your speech, type these 3 words below. I speak life. Note, by writing it, you are not just commenting, you are activating. You're declaring to heaven and to yourself. From this moment on, my words will align with my calling. I will speak blessings, not bitterness. I will speak purpose, not pity. Note, every time you say it, angels move. Every time you believe it, heaven builds. Because your voice, chosen one, is not ordinary. It is the sound of creation continuing. Chosen one. Listen, the waiting has not been wasted. Every second you thought was lost has been part of heaven's timing. There is a rhythm to divine movement that human clocks cannot comprehend. When it feels delayed, it is actually being designed. When it feels paused, it is being positioned. God's timing is never early, never late, only perfect. You have felt it, haven't you? That ache in your chest when you see others advancing while you are still preparing. That question whispered in prayer, Lord, when will it be my time? But heaven answers not with a date, but with a process. You are not being denied, you are being developed. The longer the preparation, the greater the purpose. It was proclaimed in the 2nd letter of Peter, chapter 3, verse 8. With the Lord, a day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years a day. What you call delay, heaven calls precision. You live in seconds. But God moves in seasons. A day to him holds more meaning than years of human striving. When he waits, he's not withholding, he's weaving threads of opportunity. Protection and provision are being interlaced in ways you can't yet see. Think of a tapestry. When viewed from the back, it looks messy, threads knotted, colors tangled. But when turned around, a masterpiece emerges. That's your life right now. You're staring at the underside of the design, wondering why it looks chaotic. Heaven, however, sees the picture forming perfectly. So don't resent the pause. The pause is providence. Every waiting room of destiny is crowded with angels rearranging outcomes for your good. The people who left, the doors that closed, the opportunities that passed, they were not accidents. They were divine edits. God removed what could not carry the weight of your future. And though waiting feels heavy, it's sacred weightlifting for the soul. You are being strengthened in stillness. Your faith stretched like a bow being drawn back before release. The tension you feel now will one day launch you farther than you imagined. The farther the pullback, the greater the reach. Beloved, remember this: divine timing is not just about when something happens, but who you become while waiting. You're not just waiting for blessings, you're being shaped into someone who can sustain them. Blessings without preparation break people. Preparation without bitterness builds them. Heaven is making sure you can hold what you've been asking for. Now, if this message has been stirring something deep in you, if it's speaking peace into the waiting and light into the doubt, I want to pause and speak heart to heart with you. Every word shared here is a seed planted in faith, a stream of encouragement flowing into lives that have nearly given up. If these messages have become that quiet river for your weary soul, then consider watering the well that's been watering you. When you like, share, or subscribe, you're not just engaging with content, you're extending its reach. Every share sends a spark into someone else's darkness. Every like becomes a digital amen that tells the algorithm of heaven, more souls need this. I may. And if your heart feels led to give, to donate, to sow back into what has fed your faith, know that it's more than generosity, it's partnership. You become a co-laborer in this field of light, helping this voice continue, reaching corners where hope has gone silent. Think of it as planting in fertile ground. The water that refreshed you today can overflow into another life tomorrow because of your seed. No offering is too small when it carries sincerity. Even a widow's mite can shake eternity when given in faith. This ministry is not built on numbers, it's built on obedience. Your engagement, your likes, shares, and donations are not about ego, they're about endurance. They ensure the message continues to echo across screens and souls, igniting hearts that have grown cold. But whether you choose to give or simply receive, know this: you are part of something living. Every moment you listen, heaven leans in. Every tear that falls as truth hits home is a prayer answered in another realm. So rest, chosen one. The delay is divine. The silence is sacred. And the time you've been waiting for is already moving toward you. You are not behind schedule. You are in perfect alignment with eternity's calendar. When heaven finally says, now, your preparation will meet opportunity in a collision called destiny. Keep holding on. Keep trusting. And when you feel discouraged, remember, the tapestry isn't finished. The bow isn't released. The masterpiece isn't revealed. But it will be. And when it is, you'll see why the wait was necessary. Chosen one. There is a mystery few understand. Sometimes silence preaches louder than sermons. Sometimes restraint testifies more powerfully than revelation. When heaven calls you to be still, it is not muting your influence, it is amplifying your integrity. Your silence in this season speaks volumes to realms both seen and unseen. You have been misunderstood, haven't you? People mistook your withdrawal for weakness, your quiet for confusion. But heaven sees differently. Your stillness is not surrender, it's strength. It is the proof that you no longer need validation to confirm your value. You have outgrown the need to announce what God is already revealing through your peace. According to what is written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 30, verse 15, in quietness and in trust shall be your strength. There it is, the divine paradox. Power is born in peace. Strength flows from stillness. You once believed that moving faster, speaking louder, or proving more would establish your worth. But God has inverted your understanding. He has drawn you into the sacred art of quiet confidence, where your faith does the talking and your obedience does the proving. Heaven doesn't need noise to notice you. The quiet ones, the ones who serve faithfully without applause, who forgive without fanfare, who carry burdens without broadcasting them, those are the ones the Father exalts in due time. While others chase attention, you are being refined in obscurity. While others argue for recognition, you are learning the authority of stillness. Silence is not the absence of voice, it is the presence of wisdom. Every word you do not speak is a statement of maturity. Every reaction you resist is a victory won in the Spirit. God is teaching you restraint not to silence your passion, but to sanctify your power. Think of Jesus before his accusers. He stood silent before Pilate, not because he lacked defense, but because truth does not argue, it endures. That same composure is being formed in you. The more you mature, the less you feel the need to respond. Your quiet becomes a weapon against confusion. Your composure becomes your crown. The enemy thrives on noise, chaos, gossip, exaggeration. When you remain calm, you strip him of his playground. He can't manipulate a heart that refuses to react. Every time you choose peace over panic, you win a battle unseen by human eyes. Heaven records your restraint as righteousness. This season of silence is revealing what words once hid. Your patience is preaching. Your consistency is ministering. People who once doubted you are watching quietly, realizing that your fruit speaks louder than any defense could. You don't need to prove your purity, it's shining through your endurance. Beloved, there is a quiet power radiating from your spirit now. It unsettles those who thrive on drama, because peace exposes their restlessness. But don't shrink back. The light within you is beginning to outshine the noise around you. Stay calm, stay anchored. Your serenity is your sermon. Understand this: silence is not passive, it is prophetic. It says to the world, I no longer fight to be understood, I stand to be aligned. You are learning to let heaven handle what your words never could. That's faith at its highest form, trusting that God will vindicate what he has ordained. So, when false assumptions arise, rest them in silence. When your motives are questioned, stay grounded in grace. When your name is misused, let heaven defend it. The truth always outlives the lie. Time has a way of revealing what tongues tried to conceal. Every chosen one walks through this corridor of quietness. Moses spent years in Midian before the burning bush spoke. David learned solitude before the crown. Even Elijah heard God not in the wind or fire, but in the gentle whisper. You are walking that same narrow way, the way of divine hush, where your spirit grows ears sharper than your tongue. And soon, when the moment comes for you to speak again, your words will carry thunder because they were tempered in silence. You will no longer talk to be heard. You will speak to heal. You will not argue. You will announce. You will not shout. You will shine. Chosen one, keep walking in stillness. Let the calmness within you become a language that heaven translates into authority. Your silence is not empty. It's echoing through eternity. Every quiet prayer, every withheld word, every tear you didn't explain, it's all speaking now in the courts of heaven. So, breathe deeply. Let your stillness continue its sacred work. The world may not hear you right now, but heaven does. And heaven is preparing to make your peace speak louder than any platform ever could. Chosen one, the silence that surrounds you right now is not a void, it's a classroom. You are in prophetic training, being taught not just how to speak for God, but how to hear Him. Every chosen one must pass through this quiet corridor before walking in public power. It's where the noise of the world fades and the voice of heaven becomes unmistakable. In this sacred stillness, the Spirit is sharpening your discernment. You are learning to recognize divine whispers in daily moments, the sudden peace after prayer, the strange conviction when something feels off, the gentle nudge that says, "Not this way." These are the languages of heaven. They are subtle, but precise, and once you learn to hear them, you'll never walk blindly again. As was spoken in the sacred texts of old, in the first book of Samuel, chapter 3, verse 10, the Lord came and stood there, calling, as at the other times, "Samuel, Samuel." Then Samuel said, "Speak, for your servant is listening." And that's where you are now, learning to say, "Speak, Lord, I am listening." Heaven has been calling your name again and again, sometimes through disruption, sometimes through delay, sometimes through peace that doesn't make sense. And though you may have mistaken His silence for absence, God has been present the entire time, training your hearing, tuning your spirit. You've reached a point where surface faith no longer satisfies. You crave depth now, the kind of closeness that doesn't depend on goosebumps or miracles, but on trust. This quiet training is birthing spiritual precision. Soon, you won't just react, you'll respond from revelation. Prophetic training is not glamorous. It's lonely, misunderstood, and often repetitive. You will feel like you're standing still while everyone else is running. But heaven is not measuring speed, it's measuring sensitivity. God is teaching you to pause before you move, to discern before you decide, to wait before you speak. Every interruption, every closed door, every unplanned delay, these are lessons disguised as inconvenience. They teach you to depend not on patterns, but on presence. You're learning that divine direction rarely shouts, it usually whispers. The only way to catch that whisper is through stillness. Chosen one. This is not punishment, it's promotion through patience. You are being entrusted with the ability to hear God clearly in a noisy world. When others guess, You will know. When others chase trends, you will follow truth. You will speak not from opinion, but from revelation born in silence. Understand this. Heaven trains its prophets in hidden places so they can lead with humility. You are being stripped of the need to perform, so that what you carry is pure. The world doesn't need another loud voice. It needs a clear one. And clarity is born in consecration. That's why you've been losing interest in shallow conversations. Why you've been feeling disconnected from certain people and places. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. The more God draws you in, the less you fit in with the noise around you. Don't resist this withdrawal. Embrace it. This is where your spiritual senses are being awakened. You'll begin to notice patterns you once ignored, words that echo, timing that repeats, signs that align. These are divine confirmations, teaching you to trust the language of heaven. Soon, you will find yourself moving differently, speaking less, discerning more. People will wonder how you always know when to act, what to say, or when to stay silent. They won't understand that you've been through divine training in the quiet. That's what gives your voice weight. It has been refined in stillness. You are not losing your voice. You are learning its true sound. When heaven finally releases you to speak, your words will pierce through confusion and awaken sleeping souls. But before that moment, you must master the art of listening. Beloved, there is a reward for those who endure this silent training. The noise of the world will no longer shake you. The opinions of others will no longer define you. You will move with a rhythm that only heaven knows, a rhythm that aligns perfectly with divine timing. So take this message as your reminder. You are not forgotten in the quiet. You are being refined for clarity, molded for accuracy, and trained for impact. Now, if your spirit recognizes this truth, if you feel this word, speaking directly to your current season, type below 888. That number symbolizes new beginnings, divine revelation, and the fullness of renewal. By commenting it, you are declaring, I receive my prophetic training. I welcome heaven's voice to instruct me. I will not rush what God is refining. And heaven hears your yes. Stay in the silence. Stay teachable. Stay ready. The next time God calls your name, your answer will not be fear or confusion, but clarity. Chosen one. History is full of those whom heaven hid before it honored. Every great purpose must pass through obscurity before it steps into visibility. Hiddenness is not a curse, it is a crown of preparation. When God conceals you, it is not because you are unworthy, but because you are not yet ready for the weight of recognition. You are walking the same path that the great ones walked. Joseph was hidden in a pit, then a prison. Long before he ruled in Pharaoh's palace, David was hidden in the fields, fighting lions in solitude before facing Goliath in public. Esther was hidden in a palace as an orphan before becoming a queen who saved her people. Every chosen one must endure this sacred anonymity. It's in this space that heaven matures character, shapes vision, and builds resilience. As the Apostle reminds us in his letter to the Galatians, chapter 6, verse 9, let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. You are living in that proper time preparation right now. God is sowing unseen strength into your spirit. Every act of obedience you perform in secret, every prayer whispered when no one is listening, Every tear shed in the quiet night, they are seeds planted in eternity's soil. When the time comes, those seeds will sprout into undeniable fruit. Hiddenness is heaven's classroom. It teaches humility, patience, and dependence. It removes the idols of image and applause, replacing them with intimacy and authenticity. The longer you stay hidden, the stronger your foundation becomes. Public platforms are fragile when built on shallow roots, but indestructible when built on depth formed in darkness. Chosen one. The world may overlook you, but heaven never does. God is observing how you handle what no one sees. When you worship in private, heaven records it. When you forgive silently, heaven crowns it. When you choose obedience over recognition, heaven celebrates it. These quiet victories shape the kind of vessel God can trust with visibility. Think of a blacksmith at work. He places iron in the fire, again and again, striking and shaping it until it can bear the form of a weapon. That's what God is doing with you. The heat you feel is not punishment, it's refinement. Each trial, each delay, each disappointment is a hammer in the hands of a craftsman. He's shaping your faith into something unbreakable. And when the moment of unveiling comes, it will not be because you forced it, but because heaven declared it. God never reveals a vessel still being molded. He waits until the shape can sustain the assignment. Your hidden years are ensuring that your future influence will not destroy you. It's easy to despise obscurity, to long for recognition, to crave the validation of being seen. But hiddenness is mercy. The crowd can celebrate you before you're ready. But the enemy can also attack what's visible. When heaven hides you, it's forming invisible armor around your destiny. You may not realize it now, but every unseen act of faithfulness is building momentum. Like the roots of a tree expanding beneath the soil, your preparation is expanding your reach. The deeper the roots, the higher the growth. One day, you'll rise not suddenly, but securely, and when that happens, the world will see strength. But only you and heaven will know the struggle that produced it. So, do not rush the process. Don't measure your worth by visibility. You are already significant in the silence. The waiting is not wasting, it's working. The silence is not emptiness, it's energy gathering for your emergence. Even Jesus spent 30 years in hiddenness for 3 years of ministry. Think about that. Decades of preparation for a brief but eternal impact. Heaven valued depth over duration. What you are learning in this quiet season will sustain you for a lifetime. Beloved, the temptation to compare your journey will whisper again. Resist it. Comparison blinds you to what God is uniquely crafting within you. Stay faithful where you are, even when no one claps. Excellence in obscurity is the rehearsal for greatness in exposure. And when the unveiling comes, you won't need to announce it. The fruit will speak. The favor will testify. The timing will align effortlessly. Those who once overlooked you will recognize what heaven was doing all along. Chosen one. Rest in this truth. You are not behind. You are being refined. Every hidden year is holy. Every unseen victory is sacred. And every quiet moment is a chapter in the story that will one day inspire others to trust their own seasons of hiddenness. Your time will come, and when it does, the world will call it sudden, but heaven will smile, knowing it was always right on time. Chosen one, heaven has placed something precious within you, oil, not the kind that burns in lamps or fills jars, but the invisible oil of anointing that marks your purpose, your authority, and your divine assignment. This oil is your spiritual inheritance, and it must be guarded with great care. For not everyone who reaches for your light intends to honor it. Some simply want to drain it. Guarding your oil is not selfishness, it is stewardship. The anointing on your life was not cheap. It was pressed out through seasons of crushing. Every tear, every betrayal, every lonely night, it all became part of the pressing that produced the fragrance heaven recognizes as yours. And though others may admire the shine, few understand the cost. We find in the book of Matthew, chapter 25, verse 4, "But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps." The wise virgins carried extra oil because they understood that delays were part of destiny. They didn't rely solely on what burned in the moment, they carried reserves for the unseen night ahead. Likewise, you must guard your reserves. Don't pour everything you have into places that give nothing back. Don't light every lamp that asks for your flame. Discern where your oil flows, because your light must last for the journey ahead. You have poured into others until you felt empty, haven't you? Given advice until your own voice trembled. Prayed for others until your spirit ran dry. You love deeply, give freely, and rarely count the cost. But even divine compassion must learn boundaries. If you keep giving your oil to those who do not value it, you risk running out when the bridegroom finally calls your name. There will always be those who admire your glow but refuse to seek their own oil. They will come asking for pieces of your strength, your wisdom, your peace, people who see you as a solution rather than a soul. It is noble to help, but fatal to overextend. Even Jesus withdrew to the mountains to refill after ministry. You must do the same. Your oil represents your intimacy with God, your time in prayer, your purity of heart, your faith refined through pain. It's not transferable. Others can be inspired by it, but they cannot borrow it. The moment you try to share what must be personally cultivated, you diminish your own flame. Chosen one, you cannot afford to keep pouring into those who have no intention of changing. Compassion is divine, but continual rescue of those who reject growth becomes idolatry. Love them, yes, but release them. The same God who anointed you will anoint them in their time. You are responsible for stewardship, not salvation. You've likely learned this lesson the hard way. You gave without discernment and ended up drained. You shared divine insights with unready ears and faced mockery instead of gratitude. Yet even that pain was a teacher. It taught you to discern where your oil flows and where it evaporates. Heaven wastes nothing, not even exhaustion. There is a reason you've been feeling Heaven's hand pulling you away from certain people, certain habits, certain commitments. It's not punishment, it's protection. God is preserving your oil for something far greater than where you've been pouring it. He's preparing you for a season where your light must shine consistently, not sporadically. To guard your oil means to guard your peace. Protect your mornings. Guard your worship. Prioritize the presence of God over the approval of people. You can be kind without being consumed. You can love without losing yourself. You can serve without being drained. Balance is holy. Think of a lamp. If the wick burns without oil, it scorches itself. and dies quickly. If there's oil but no flame, it stagnates in darkness. Both must coexist, the discipline of replenishing and the courage to shine. Heaven is teaching you to maintain that rhythm. Refill, then release, withdraw, then return, pray, then pour. There will come a day when those who mocked your boundaries will admire your endurance. They will wonder how you kept glowing through storms that extinguished others. And you will know it wasn't luck, it was stewardship. You guarded your oil. Do not apologize for protecting your peace. Those who misunderstand your stillness are often addicted to chaos. Let them. Your calling demands clarity, and clarity comes only from consecration. The world around you is growing darker, but your lamp, if guarded, will shine brighter than ever. Beloved, never forget this truth. Your oil is sacred. You paid for it with your surrender. You sustained it with your tears, and you preserve it with your obedience. Guard it fiercely, for when the hour of unveiling comes, it is your oil that will distinguish you from the crowd. It is your oil that heaven will recognize when others' lamps go out. Stay vigilant. Stay filled. Stay glowing. Chosen one. Sometimes God's greatest gift is not acceleration, but interruption. When everything suddenly pauses, when the doors stop opening and your strength feels spent, it is not because heaven has forgotten you. It's because heaven is protecting you from moving ahead of divine timing. When God commands a pause, it's not punishment, it's mercy in disguise. The stillness that frustrates you is often the womb of restoration. You've been moving, building, pouring, praying, but in the rush to fulfill destiny, even holy work can drain the soul. So heaven, in perfect love, presses pause. The world may interpret it as stagnation, but in truth, it's calibration. God stops the music not because the song is over, but because He's retuning the instruments. As Jesus Himself declared in the Gospel of John, chapter 15, verse 2, every branch that does bear fruit, He prunes, that it may bear more fruit. That's the mystery you're walking through right now. You are being pruned, not punished. God cuts back what's good to make room for what's greater. It's painful, yes, but pruning always precedes promotion. The branch that resists the gardener misses the harvest. Chosen one, this pause is heaven's hand at work. You are being refined, refocused, and reconnected to the source. The pause is not about stopping your progress, it's about protecting your power. God will not let you burn out in the name of purpose. He would rather delay your unveiling than let you arrive empty. Think of an archer drawing a bow. Before the arrow flies forward, it must first be pulled backward. That tension feels like regression, but it's preparation for distance. The greater the pull, the farther the flight. That's what God is doing. He's pulling you back only to launch you further than you ever imagined. And in this waiting, heaven is whispering, rest before you run again. The pause is your pit stop. The oil of renewal is being poured into your spirit. Your focus is being sharpened. Your motives purified. Your energy restored. When you rise again, you'll move not from striving, but from strength. If this message has been echoing something inside you, if you felt the Spirit confirming it through that gentle ache of recognition, then hear this next part with your heart, not just your ears. Every word shared here, every whisper of heaven you've read, is meant to remind you that you're not walking alone. These messages are rivers for weary souls, streams that flow into dry places of faith, and like every river, they need channels to keep flowing. When you like, share, or subscribe, you're not just clicking buttons, you're releasing ripples. Each share is a ripple that carries hope to someone on the verge of quitting. Each like tells the unseen algorithms of this age, this light matters. Keep it shining. Each subscription becomes a way of saying, I want to keep growing in this truth. And if your heart has been stirred to sow a seed, to donate, to give, to pour back into what has poured into, you know this. It's not an obligation, it's an act of partnership. You're helping keep the flame burning, ensuring that this voice continues, reaching hearts that still sit in their silent nights, waiting for a word from heaven. Imagine a lighthouse standing against storm winds. It doesn't survive by accident, it survives because someone keeps fueling the lamp. Every act of support, no matter how small, becomes that fuel. Your kindness is the oil that keeps the beacon lit, guiding others through their darkness. But whether you give or simply receive, the truth remains, your pause has purpose. Heaven is reordering your steps, tuning your spirit, and preparing your launch. You may not see it, but divine hands are aligning your path beyond sight. The pruning is temporary, the fruit will be eternal. So breathe. Beloved, let go of the urge to force progress. When the time comes, your momentum will return, not through struggle, but through grace. You'll know the pause was necessary because everything that once felt heavy will suddenly feel light. And as this message finds its way into your heart, take a moment to comment below, share what this pause means to you. Your reflection may be the confirmation someone else needs to keep believing through their own delay. Remember this always, when God presses pause, it's because He's composing something new. The next chapter of your life isn't cancelled, it's simply tuning for perfect harmony. So stay still a little longer. Chosen one. The music is about to resume, and when it does, your song will carry heaven's melody. Chosen one. The silence that once tested you is now preparing to break. There comes a moment in every divine journey when the waiting ends, when what was whispered in the dark begins to echo in daylight. This is the threshold. You are standing on the edge between secrecy and revelation, between promise and fulfillment. The season of hidden preparation has been long. You've endured the pruning, the silence, the testing, and the loneliness. You've walked through dry valleys with no confirmation except a quiet conviction that God was still with you. But now, heaven is stirring the air. The stillness that once surrounded you is beginning to vibrate with movement. The winds of unveiling are gathering. The ancient words recorded in the book of Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 22, declare, when the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen. That is the announcement of heaven over your life right now. The work God is about to do will not require your explanation. It will carry its own evidence. Those who once doubted you will have no words to respond. The very hands that pointed at your stillness will witness your sudden acceleration. Heaven is preparing to display what it built in silence. Every quiet sacrifice, every hidden act of faith, every unseen tear has been recorded in the eternal archives. Nothing was wasted. The same God who saw Daniel's faith in the lion's den and Esther's courage behind palace walls has seen your obedience in obscurity. He is about to bring you into the watch and see season, where manifestations speak louder than words. You will not need to prove your calling. Your fruit will prove it. You will not need to chase opportunity. Opportunity will recognize your fragrance. Heaven knows your name, and the earth is about to echo it in alignment. Doors that once resisted will swing open with ease because you now carry authority, not anxiety. The delay that once exhausted you has now prepared you for destiny. Chosen one. You must understand, divine unveiling is never random. It happens when two things align: readiness and timing. You have been refined for readiness. Heaven has been waiting for timing. Now both align. This is the point where silence shifts into sound. Do not be surprised when things start happening suddenly. It will look like overnight success, but you will know it was the accumulation of years. A single divine yes can redeem a decade of not yet. You will step into spaces that used to intimidate you and realize they were designed for you all along. This unveiling will not only change your surroundings, it will change your stance. You will speak with a calm authority that does not demand attention, yet commands it. You will move through rooms not with pride, but with purpose. Heaven will orchestrate divine alignments, connections that feel effortless because they are orchestrated, not engineered. But remember this: revelation is responsibility. The greater the unveiling, the deeper the humility required to sustain it. Do not let applause distract you from intimacy. Stay near the source that lit your fire in the dark. What was born in silence must be sustained in surrender. The unveiling will come with both visibility and vulnerability. New eyes will see you, some to celebrate, some to criticize. Do not fear either. The same hand that revealed you will protect you. You are not being exposed to be exploited, but to be exalted in divine purpose. The world will see the fruit, but only heaven will remember the roots. Never forget where the power came from. Keep the posture of gratitude. The moment you forget that the anointing is borrowed, not owned, the oil begins to dry. But if you stay surrendered, the flow will never stop. Chosen one. Your story is shifting from preparation to performance, not performance for people, but fulfillment of purpose. You are stepping into the chapter where obedience meets outcome, where faith becomes fact. The silence that once humbled you will soon testify for you. And when the unveiling happens, you will not even feel the need to announce it. Those who are meant to see will see. Those who are meant to hear will hear. For heaven reveals at the right volume to the right audience. So, lift your head. The shadows are breaking. The dawn you waited for is rising quietly, steadily, gloriously. Everything you endured was leading to this moment, the moment heaven turns the hidden into the seen, the whispered into the witnessed. Stay steady now. Don't rush. Don't boast. Don't fear. Simply stand and let the light find you. The unveiling has begun, and it will be marvelous in your sight. Chosen one. Now, the silence has done its work. The pruning, the pressing, and the pause have all fulfilled their purpose. You stand now at the edge of fulfillment, not because you chased it, but because you became it. The light that once flickered faintly within you now burns steady and strong. You are no longer hidden. Though you will always remain humble, heaven has lifted the veil, and what emerges from the quiet is not the same as what entered it. The crown that rests on you now is not made of gold or jewels. It is woven from endurance, obedience, and unseen faith. You have been refined by waiting, purified by pain, and strengthened by surrender. What the world will soon see is not the product of luck or labor alone, but of grace multiplied through perseverance. You are walking proof that divine timing is never wasted time. As the Word of God declares in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 4, verse 7, I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Then, the crown you wear cannot be seen by all, but the atmosphere feels it. When you walk into rooms now, peace follows. When you speak, truth cuts through confusion. You do not need to announce your authority. Heaven already has. You've moved beyond needing validation. The approval of God has become enough. Look back for a moment, not in regret, but in recognition. The long nights, the unanswered prayers, the closed doors, they were all part of your making. What once felt like rejection was actually redirection. The people who left were not meant to limit you. They were meant to lighten your load. Every no that crushed you was heaven's way of protecting what was sacred inside you. You see now that what God builds in silence can never be shaken by noise. The peace you carry is not fragile, it is forged. It cannot be imitated because it was purchased through perseverance. You are no longer chasing purpose, you are embodying it. Your steps are ordered, your mind anchored, your spirit awake. This final stretch of your journey is not about striving, but shining. You don't need to force open doors. They will recognize your knock. You don't need to convince hearts. They will discern your light. Divine alignment is no longer coming. It is happening. What was once potential has become presence. And yet, even in your emergence, heaven whispers the same instruction that carried you through the silence. Stay surrendered. The higher you rise, the lower your heart must bow. Greatness sustained without humility becomes a crown too heavy to wear. But in surrender, your crown remains weightless because you are carried, not self-elevated. Chosen one. Your story is not ending here, it is transforming into legacy. The light you carry will now ignite others. The words you speak will awaken the sleeping, heal the broken, and remind the forgotten that they too are chosen. Your existence itself has become a sermon. Your presence, a reminder that darkness never wins against persistence. You will find yourself helping others navigate the very silence that once shaped you. And when they ask, "How did you endure it?" you will smile, not to boast, but to bless and say, "Because the silence was not empty, it was full of God." That realization will be your greatest revelation. The truth that sustains your influence without corrupting your soul. The world will see the glory, but heaven will remember the story, the nights you prayed without words, the tears that baptized your faith, the moments you almost quit but didn't. Every second was seed time for this harvest. Now, stand tall, not in pride, but in purpose. You have reached the season where the promise and the person finally agree. You are crowned not for what you have achieved, but for who you have become. The trials didn't destroy you, they revealed you. The silence didn't silence you, it shaped your song. And as you move forward, know this, the story is far from over. Every ending in God's hands is simply a doorway to greater revelation. You will continue to evolve, to rise, to pour out, but never again from emptiness. The oil you protected now flows freely, blessing all it touches. The same God who hid you will now herald you not for applause, but for assignment. Chosen one. Take a breath. Let this final moment settle in your spirit, like calm after a storm. You've journeyed through silence, endurance, pruning, and unveiling, and you've emerged radiant. Heaven never wastes pain, never delays without purpose, never hides without preparing to reveal. What began as confusion has ended in clarity. You are no longer waiting for permission to shine. You are walking in divine alignment. But remember, this isn't the end. It's a continuation, a new chapter of light. The same stillness that once felt heavy now becomes your sanctuary. Keep returning there, because that's where your strength renews. Every time you pause in His presence, your crown gleams brighter. Every time you stay faithful in obscurity, heaven writes another line in your legacy. If this journey has touched you, if these words have mirrored something deep inside you, then don't let it fade quietly. Like a ripple on calm water, your simple act of sharing can reach someone still lost in their silence. A like isn't just a gesture, it's an amen. A share isn't just a click, it's a spark of light traveling further than you imagine. And if you feel led to stay connected, subscribe so that you never miss the next whisper from heaven. Together, we're building more than a community. We're nurturing a generation of chosen ones learning to walk with grace, strength, and spiritual discernment. Take a moment to comment below. Share a sentence, a thought, or even an emoji that marks what this message stirred in you. Your voice might be the confirmation another soul is praying for tonight. This is not goodbye. This is the beginning of greater things. You are seen, known, and divinely guided. Keep your oil, keep your peace, and keep your light burning.